And now blow your money. There goes 100. Now blow your money. There goes another. There goes another 100. Blow your money. There goes 100. Now blow your money. If you do it my way, you get faded when life plummets. If you were going south, you're headed for southern comfort. Although it can push you to jumping or acting the dummy, like spending all of your money, cause you just got made redundant. But retail theft, the denim is the only cover to your funding. Besides, if you subscribe, any subject you like.
You can't teach people their own creativity. Like, creativity is self-expression. You can give someone the tools and show them all different ways in which they can express themselves, but they will uniquely find the things that speak to them.
I actually do have a lot of love for Melbourne. I came down here when I was 2 years old. There's no way I would be able to be who I am if I was overseas versus if I was in Melbourne. Melbourne, like I said, is one of the very few rare cities that has a link of all these cultures. Also not in like the racial and like nationalist sense, but also in like subcultural sense as well.
You know when you reach that point where you like so confidently walk in the room and you're just like, nah, this is my space now. When I'm looking at the crowd, that's what I see. Like everybody's just dressed how they want to, whatever makes them feel comfortable, whatever makes them feel beautiful.
I find Melbourne to be the thriving city of like people want to come here and do things. People see this as like a fashion capital of of Australia. People see this as like music capital as well.
It's a really exciting time to be in Melbourne. Everyone is really striving to do better, whether that be working for social causes or in the sustainability aspect of clothing and fashion. So originally we started out as it was an awareness piece, just trying to break down the stigma of homelessness, and to now having a store and creating opportunities for young people, to thrive.
I think thrift culture in Melbourne is huge because one, there's like such environmental consideration with most Melbournians, and so I think that stores like Goodbyes, Swap is also another one. They have like a very regular and consistent clientele. A piece of clothing that you thrift has this like life before it that kind of adds to the story of how you feel wearing it.
And Melbourne is like full of fashion and style, and there's every corner you go, every crevice of Melbourne, there's different styles. And even with music, we started out DJing, and our style of DJing, we actually played a lot of Afro beats. We're both from South Sudan, and we love our continent. It was really dope and great to be able to, pioneer that in Melbourne because we have such a niche scene here. We never really saw representation of like people like us DJing, let's say. And so what it was for us was to just step out and do it, right? And a lot of things that me and my sister have done have been trial and error. And as a DJ, I think it's really important as well to just come as you are rather than coming to fit into spaces.
This is where I know. I guess my experience in Nam has really been like, it's the people. You know what I mean? It's really the individuals that I met along the way.
I find that Umami brings all those people together. I don't want it to be an exclusionary night, I want it to be inclusive. An entire mantra or our way of functioning is that we focus on highlighting queer people of color as talent, because many times in club culture, it's very, very white, very cis, very straight, and we wanted to highlight those people because they're very hidden. The big emphasis on a night is fashion, especially club culture fashion, which is the heavy emphasis on creating and stylizing garments yourself.
If people can feel like emotionally connected to their clothing, we won't have so much waste. The Reborn label is just trying to shed awareness around that and, show that we can repurpose and recycle and upcycle clothing that we already have.
I feel like you can really tell when someone has thrifted and like lives a life that is like conscious of their consumption, conscious of the impact that they have. And I think that is very unique to Melbourne.
the club scene is kind of a safe space for people to wear whatever the hell they want to wear. People who, might think they're trans but don't know, can come to our nights and say, okay, I want to dress up as my idea of myself. And I can say, hey, that's fine, you come here and do whatever you want to do in our space, that's totally fine. We're so focused on 9-to-5s, yuppie culture, and that removes self-expression.
Self-expression is something that is constantly under attack, and if you look at your own self-expression through the eyes of anybody else, a lot of the time, you're gonna hate what you do. You're gonna feel like you're not enough.
I think fashion is so important for identity, especially for people outside the gender binary. People like me don't feel comfortable wearing suits. We have these runways which we curate where people just walk and just the most ridiculous things. And a lot of these people who come through with these ideas of fashion inspire me myself as well. I see myself in them when I was younger.
For me, it's something that I can feel proud in, whether it's supporting an issue by buying from someone who's socially responsible.
The self-expressiveness of new clothing is kind of limited in the sense that it's seasonal, but I think that thrifting, because it is old clothes and old garments from past trends and past years, decades, whenever, it's kind of like a time capsule and captures that energy and that essence.
There's a lot of judgment as well, for women especially, and how you dress, how you present yourself. There's a microscope on us most of the time, so we had to really be careful with what I was wearing, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be too I don't want to be too extra, I don't want to be too exposed, or I'm going to be seen as this person. But I think over time, I realized instead of looking at it from that angle, it's actually power to me. I dress for myself. I dress for how I feel. I'll go to a tennis match in a gown if I have to, and if I feel good, it's my armour, basically.
You can do that like that, or you can do it like that, or you can freak it like that, however you feel, you know what I mean? And in whatever way I can show you. I guess the most inspirational things to me, again, has just been people being like, this is how I feel, If I can inspire anybody to do anything, it's just to feel safe to be you and to feel safe to be honest, we're not gonna free ourselves by being what we think other people want us to be.